So then, Super Formula. Let's talk about the season opener at Suzuka. 2 races, and I'm going to talk to you about my experience watching Super Formula for the first time. I'm going to talk to you about some things that stood out for me in the race, and some other reflections that I have as well. But before I get into that, it is my first time watching Super Formula. I've driven the Super Formulas before in iRacing, but I'm recording this on the day that the second race happened, the 9th of March. It was available for free on Motorsport TV, and I really appreciate when the providers do stuff like that. I'm thinking of doing this for Super GT and Super Formula this season, just because I don't know if I'm going to do videos for all of them, but it means I get a clearer picture when it comes to my driver rankings for the end of the year. So if you do enjoy this, please do let me know. I know this is coming out a couple of weeks after the race, but that's just because of the way that my video scheduling is going at the moment. So yes, please do let me know if you'd like to see more of this on the channel, and if you do enjoy it, hit like, and if you do want to see more as well, do hit subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, one of the things that this is marketed as a series is the second fastest single-seaters in the world after Formula 1. And I know IndyCar will probably disagree with that, though I reckon Super Formula would probably contest by going, oh, the aero screen means it's a closed cockpit. I don't know. I think IndyCar is probably faster, but IndyCar is probably the best metric to have in terms of a comparison, because IndyCar is to a similar extent to Spec Series. The difference is that the Dallara chassis that you get in IndyCar are bespoke to IndyCar, whereas these are sort of based around the kind of stuff that you see in Formula 2 and Formula 3. Though, differences, it has some systems similar to IndyCar, like the push-to-pass system, instead of, being fully naturally aspirated. But what it does do is it creates great close racing on an entirely road course calendar, which you don't necessarily see. And I think this is better than F2 at doing that. Even though it's a lot more of a domestic series, it's actually producing really close battles, really close action. And I think we saw that over the course of the weekend, as well as, well, some bits that you tend to only really see in single-seaters. For example, it was great to see, the likes of Igor Fraga trying this out. Sim racer by background. He did really well in the second race. Struggled a bit in the first race. Got caught up in an incident that, there was no real way to avoid in the same kind of situation. But also, he was well down the order when it happened. At the same time, Tadasuke Makino had a relatively weak first race, I'd say, and a relatively strong second race. His teammate, on the other hand, Kakuno Shinota, had a really good first race, and then decided that he was going to floor it through the Casio Triangle to get past Iwasa in the second race, which landed him a penalty. Which meant that when I was in the driver rankings, you see this really big gulf between those two drivers in the standings, because Makino has a 4 and an 8, Otta has a 9 and a 4 in terms of my ratings out of 10 for it. Sho Saboi ended up with 2 7s. Both cases he qualified quite poorly, but he did really well to benefit from the penalty that went Otta's way to get second place in the second race. And Iwasa as well was really good in the first one. And then in the second one, he was okay, just didn't have the pace, especially the pace of the likes of Takasugi Makino. But of course, like you have with open wheels and close quarters racing, you have the occasions where it can go wrong. And oh boy, did it go wrong for some people in Super Formula as well. In the first race, I think Kotaka was involved in one of them, right? But so was Miyake really early on. Late on in the second race, we had Zach O'Sullivan that brought out the safety car, meant the race ended behind the safety car, and it's part of why Kakuno Shinota ended up getting such a low ranking for me. Because if it hadn't been for the safety car, I probably would have lost second place to Sho Saboi, but still would have been ahead of Ayumu Iwasa in the standings. As a result of this safety car, it changed the order. And it dropped Otto down to, what, 13th, I think. Rotten luck. But the main beneficiary was Shosa Boy from all of that. There was also, was the 5 seconds too harsh or too fair? I think it would have been too light if the race had been able to keep on going, especially because it allowed Otter to then get past Makino when Makino pit. But I think it was fair, given that we had the safety car in the end. I think even if we'd had 1 or 2 laps of racing at the end as well, after a safety car, like a very brief safety car, it would have also been fair. Because the main benefit that Otto got from it all was the track position. Likewise, I think Zach Sullivan's thing being a racing incident was also fair. I mean, it was his mistake, I think. I think it comes down to a racing incident, squeezing the other car wide onto the rumble strip. He wasn't clear. And if O'Sullivan hadn't been the one out of the race, I think a penalty would have been fair as well. But those are just my thoughts, feelings, and observations. Do let me know yours in the comment section down below. And please, if you did enjoy this, and if you are somebody who watches Super Formula regularly, please do let me know. I appreciate any feedback I get on the content to do on this channel. And yeah, thanks for watching, folks. Until next time, so bye for now.